Good afternoon. And a very special greeting that I think many of you may be familiar with. Om Shanti. Thank you. Om Shanti means I am peace. And my sense is that you already had that experience through the day, whether you knew this term or you didn't. But hopefully from the morning through till now you've been experiencing Om Shanti. But also my hope is that you'll carry away Om Shanti with you wherever it is you return home and share that with everybody else around you. You've been hearing about the conditions of the world, so I don't need to say anything further, except that to point out that one of the most basic principles of transformation is the realization of a very simple formula. And I would put it as inside out. And what that means is that whatever is going on inside of me is that which I'm seeing reflected outside. You heard lots of commentaries about why the riots happened, or maybe this is why they happened through the UK in August. But just think about this one aspect of inside out. And just think about the times when there's been this inner conflict of your thoughts and your feelings, your heart and your conscience, or even that side which is the beautiful, benevolent side of you, and the side which is not so altruistic, not so concerned about others, but more focused on just me, the I. And so when we see that there's this conflict going on within, then we can understand why things happen the way they do outside also. But when there comes a moment of deep understanding, of realization, then from that moment on, we start shifting the paradigm. We start changing things around. The journey might not be such an easy one, but the start of the journey is one moment. The start of the journey isn't a long period of time. I may have been searching a long time, I may have been struggling a long time, but that moment of realization, when I understand what it is I have to do, that's literally a snap of a finger. And my hope is that many of you have come to that point already, and that's what's brought you here today. But if not, maybe some of the things that have been shared through the day and your own experiences in the workshops and meditations would have brought you to that moment. And the feeling that, yes, I now understand what it is that I need to do. Accepting responsibility for what's going on in the world is a tall order. The environment breakdown? How am I responsible? Am I responsible? Who thinks that they're responsible? Slowly, slowly. It's true, isn't it? I can't say, why did Hurricane Katrina happen? Why are the hurricanes and earthquakes and tsunamis happening? There comes a moment when I say, I know that I am part of the consumer society. I am part of that situation in which we've just simply taken and taken and taken and not thought about the consequences. And so now, Mother Earth, nature, we're seeing the reaction of that. And so it's absolutely a reality to know that whatever's going on inside is what we see around us outside. But that's not a thought to create heaviness or pain. Definitely not an explosion. But it's a thought to make us reflect, but also to turn around the corner and to have another thought, and that is, well, if I'm responsible for everything that's happened this far, surely I can be responsible for creating something else, something new, something beautiful. And so today is a day of hope, a day when I know that because I am responsible, I now have the possibility of creating a better world, a world in which truly there can be truth, there can be love, there can be compassion. And I deeply believe this. I hold this idea very, very strongly in my heart, and that's the vision that I've been working towards. And I see many things happening that confirm the changes that are going on in a very positive way. I see that today we're able to talk about values. I see that we're able to talk about meditation. I remember in the 80s we had a program where a person who was at that time the Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Weatherall, I don't know whether anybody remembers that person, a very interesting soul. And he came onto our platform and he was a bit shy, but he did. And he made the statement, I am a closet meditator. None of us would say that today, would we? No, I'm a meditator and I'm proud to be a meditator. But at that time, he had to use this expression. To be a vegetarian meant that you were nutty. And I'm sure some people still believe that. But no, it's fine. It's not just a crazy state of mind that's making me say that I choose to eat like a rabbit, and I don't. We've had a taste of vegetarian food, and there was nothing rabbity about it, was there? But I remember being at school and only picking on a lettuce leaf and a few boiled potatoes and carrots. And if I was very lucky, I got a baked potato once a week. So things have changed for the better in certain ways. We know that vegetarian diet is good for health, physical and mental, but more importantly, we know that vegetarian diet is a necessity for survival in terms of the planet. And if you have a question about it, there's plenty of information on lots of websites that will give you confirmation in terms of statistics and figures about why I made that statement, and I hold by it. Vegetarian diet is a necessity for the survival of the planet, or I should say actually humanity on the planet, because the planet will survive anyway. Will we? Question mark. How will we? Another question mark. So I've just mentioned a couple of things that I've seen happen in terms of the changes in a positive direction. But let me look at the first principle in terms of how it applies to me. Whatever is going on inside is what's going on outside, is reflected outside. It means that my thoughts, my feelings, my words, my actions all contribute to the state of affairs that are going on immediately in my own world around me, but also in the world at large. If I want to change, how can I change? You heard Mike George talk about ripping apart the different veils, the different masks. I want to take us back to another principle that I'm sure everybody who's here in this room understands. and that is that the original state of the human being, of the human spirit, is of goodness. Yes? Yes. The original state of the human soul is of love, of truth, of compassion. There have been different experiments, and biologists in particular have been looking at this area of compassion and how the natural instinct of the human being is one of compassion. It isn't one of harshness and aggression, but of compassion. And when I believe this, then it becomes easy for me to change. Because I'm not doing anything new, but what I'm doing is coming back to that which is originally me. I'd forgotten myself, I'd forgotten my own original qualities, and all I'm doing now is removing all the artificial layers that have accumulated over a period of time, and I'm uncovering that original beauty of the self. Surely that's not difficult. Putting on makeup is an art. Washing away the makeup, a child can do that. It's a game, it's a play. And so the masks that we've been putting on, that's taken us a long period of time, and we've gradually acquired all of those different masks. But to take them off and allow the original beauty of the self to shine, that's easy. Not difficult at all. It just takes one little thing, and that is awareness. Just to stay in that awareness of who I truly am. That's it. Why should that be so difficult? Well, there is a reason why it's difficult, and that is habit. We've developed the habit of thinking of ourselves as this external form. And so to change a habit, now that takes attention. I'm sure everyone here has tried changing a particular habit at some point in their life. And maybe I've tried changing the same habit 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, and I still haven't succeeded. Habits are deep. They become part of me. They become part of the pattern of behavior that I follow. And so to break free from a habit isn't so easy. But when I'm desperate enough, when it becomes, I'll use a word that's not so pleasant, but I want to use that word to emphasize how important it is. When it becomes an obsession that I want to break this habit, I want to get rid of this thing, then I'm going to be able to do it. In the sense that I say, I don't want to be limited by color, gender, religion, tradition, age, culture. I don't want to be restricted by any of these things. I want to allow that which is the being within to shine. And so when I begin to think about it in this way, then I know that yes, that goodness that is there within me is what I'm tapping into, and that's what's going to be released and expressed. And so I'm responsible for my thoughts and feelings, but also I know that there is goodness there deep within the soul, and that's what I'm accessing. And so in a way it's almost natural. Transformation is happening continually. there's never a moment in which a human being is stagnant. Does time ever stop? I would like it to, maybe sometimes. I'm enjoying something and it's a beautiful moment and I want to hold on to it. But I can't, it's not possible. Time is going to keep ticking on and things are going to change. And so transformation, whether in terms of time, whether in terms of nature, whether in terms of matter, or in terms of the human spirit, things are always, always, always changing. But we are at a very special moment in history now, when instead of a gradual decline, you're actually at a moment when it's possible to start ascending. And maybe the reason is that we've hit rock bottom. When we come to that point where human beings lose humanity, there can't be further bottom than that. It's the bottom of the pit. But it's at that moment that then the shock of having hit rock bottom is so strong that something again begins to stir and awaken within us and inspire us to start moving forward. And I think that's the time that we're at in history today. A movement forward has begun. So about the things within, and the things that are within my own capacity to be able to access and to be able to put through into action. But I also want to talk about another force, another energy, and that is that of the divine. Whatever name I give to the divine is fine. Whether I call that being the conductor or the director of this unlimited drama or the creator, yes, this makes total sense. And when you're out there, what is all that about? Must be a bit crazy. But there's a connection I can carry with myself wherever I go, so that that company stays with me and is able to influence me. And it's simply the connection of my awareness with the Supreme. Not a physical form, not even an angelic form. All those things have created so much friction and division through the ages. But just simply a being of light. And just being able to connect through my thoughts, nothing physical, nothing external, no postures, no images, nothing. But just simply turning my thoughts to the source of all attributes, the being who is a being of light, and the help that I need, the power that I need to change my habits is available for me. How often is it that I've known I need to do something, what I'm doing isn't quite on track, I need to change it, and I need to change it in a positive direction, and I haven't had the power to do that. But that power is available. I simply need to connect. The connection is through my thoughts. My thoughts turning to the Supreme, and the power becomes available, and that power then allows me to go through my transformation. Love, truth, compassion. I've just named a few of the qualities that are very much the fundamental qualities of the human spirit. But that power makes it easy for me to express these in myself and in my life. I'm focusing very much on self-transformation because I believe deeply that it's through this that transformation in the world can happen. think about that first principle, inside out. If I can change things within myself and allow these highest attributes to emerge within me and become the real being that I'm meant to be, my actions change, and definitely there's a ripple effect. I have a question for you. You don't have to give me an answer. It's something for you to reflect on. How many people are you in contact with? 50? 100? Some of you 500? I'm sure. All of those people are the people who are watching you. And I mean that in a very positive sense. Not supervising you, not monitoring you, but they're watching you. They're looking at you because you're in contact with them. And when they see positive transformation happen within you, they begin to feel, well, maybe this is something I can do. When they see you stable in your state of love, of truth, they say, but how did he do it? How did she do it? Well, maybe I can do the same. And so there's a ripple effect, and not just from 1 to 100 and 500, but each one of those individuals also having an impact on their circle. And so you can see how it's possible to start creating communities in which transformation has happened. Not just transformation in one or a few, but whole communities in which this can happen. And I believe that once we reach a certain level, which is a critical mass, then that's going to be able to impact everybody else. I discovered something very interesting some time ago, and I hadn't realized it before. But when you've got a container with water and it starts to freeze, what happens is there's a little crystal here, a little crystal here, another one here, and another one that starts to form. But once there's a few little crystals of ice that have been formed, then suddenly the whole block of ice is formed. It starts slowly, one here, one here, one here, one here. But within a certain space of time, just a few of those crystals, and you have a block of ice. And so the process of transformation within humanity is the same. A little group here, another one here, another one here, another one here. And you reach that level of critical mass, and you see, literally, the world has changed. So I believe that you're at a turning point in history. We are moving from a period of tremendous darkness, but we are now moving into the day. We're not even waiting for the dawn to break. I believe that this gathering that's happened here today couldn't have happened 10 years ago. Definitely not 40 years ago. But it's happening now. And so light has already entered this world. But not everybody is up to see the dawn. Most people are still sleeping when the dawn breaks. But the ones here are the ones who are awake. And a part of that, the process of not just welcoming the dawn, but part of the process of bringing about the day. And so the day is not far off. Light has already entered this world, and everybody here is part of that light. So let me be the light, let me keep the light shining, and let me carry that light out into the world. think about a huge room and just one little candle, and that one little candle makes a difference to the huge room that's full of darkness. And so each and every single individual is the light that's going to go out there and bring about illumination for many, many others to benefit from. Let's have a few moments of meditation to underline the experience of all of this, so that you carry away that experience with yourself. Sitting quietly, I turn inwards and I focus on the light within. I am that being of light, and in this atmosphere and in the presence of others who are aware, the light shines. The light is a light of truth. This light is a light of love. And in this awareness of who I am, I know, I feel, the truth and the love shining. And in this sacred space, I connect with the divine, the supreme, the being of light. I'm from the source of truth and love. These qualities shine out into the world. And as the truth shines, the illusions and the falsehood melt away. Falsehood was merely an illusion, with no substance. And the light of truth from the divine touches human souls and fills them with strength. And the love from the divine ignites hope in human hearts. And the love from the divine touches nature and the elements of matter and all forms of life. So that new life is given to nature itself. And the pure love of the divine restores harmony and peace to nature itself. The love of the divine heals human hearts. So that all our energies cooperate together. And one family, the awareness of one, is able to create a world of oneness. Holding this love and truth, I come back to the awareness of the physical dimension and the moment here and now. But I keep this awareness with myself. Om.